The winter transfer window is quickly approaching. Rumors are going to start quickly about various clubs, but Red Star has been in a rumor recently in the last 2 or 3 days that Juventus is looking at Red Star's center forward, Jovan Mijatović, who in 21 matches this season has 7 goals. That's spanning all competitions. So he's played a little bit in the second tier of Serbian football. He's played in the Youth Champions League. I think that's what it's called. He's played a little bit in the Champions League, the domestic league. I think he's played even some matches for the U19s, if I'm not mistaken. So 7 goals in those 21 appearances, 4 goals in 10 appearances for the Red Star squad. And what's very important and kind of speaks to the type of player that he has 2 game winners, and I think both of them might have been headers. I know one for sure was a header, and I think the second one might have been a header as well. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. But he does have 2 game winners out of the 4 that he scored, which is very important for a young player that's only 18. Averages a goal about every 139 minutes and 85 about every 85 a goal every 85 minutes in the Superliga, which is the first tier of Serbian football, which is pretty important, and it's a pretty good stat for a player who's 18 and doesn't really play that much. 4 goals in 13 appearances for the U19s. He's predominantly a center forward, but he has played left wing, right wing, attacking midfielder, and as a second striker. So he's kind of covered all those offensive attacking positions. The position that I kind of like to see him at most is probably a second striker or a center forward. Um, 18 years old, contract runs until the end of June 2026, and he's currently worth 1.8 million euros on transfer market, which is a fairly high price. I think for a kid who's only 18, and considering the league where he's coming from, I think 1.8 is a pretty high fee for an 18-year-old. In terms of like his build, he reminds me, and a lot of people say this as well, of a Luka Jovic when he was younger, and even Luka Jovic now. Um, Kind of a little bit shorter, stockier player. He's hard to knock off his feet. So when he has the ball in his feet, he's very difficult to kind of knock off on his feet, especially in the domestic league where there's not players who are obviously as skilled as players in the Champions League or Europa League or even the Conference League. So he's able to kind of get away from that, and he's a lot of fouls. He suffers a lot of fouls because again, he's very hard to body off the ball. We saw a lot of that in the preseason tournament as well. Um, and he's not afraid to mix it up with opponents. Like he's not afraid to, stick his head, like I'd like to say, stick his head where a lot of guys wouldn't stick their foot in. And he's ready to mix it up with players. He's going to chirp players back if they say something to him, which for an 18-year-old is it's kind of great that he has that quality in him and that he's not afraid to mix it up. I think that goes a long way into kind of motivating himself to do better during matches as well, especially if it's maybe a center back that he's kind of paired up against um, while they're fighting in the match. And he's obviously trying to score goals, and the center back's trying to kind of defend him as best as he can. But I like that about him. And especially the fact when you take into consideration that he's, again, a shorter player, he's kind of built like a Luka Jovic, so he's still not afraid to mix it up. Shows a lot about his character. Needs to improve his playmaking. So that I think that specifically when it comes to playing the left back, or sorry, the right wing or the left wing positions where you kind of have to get other players involved as well, and it kind of suits the attacking midfielder and second striker position as well, where you kind of have to be able to set up guys as well. Your passing has to be pristine, it has to be on point, not a lot of missed passes because we know that creates attacking counterattacks for the opposition. So that's the type of stuff that he still has to work on, and I think he will work on that. Like I said, he hasn't played too much for Red Star this season, and last season he was kind of used sparingly. So that's something that he's going to have to improve on as he goes on, especially if he's going to play in a better league, tougher league, top 5 league in the world. I think that's something that he's going to have to work on. Um, I think his best production is in that center forward role as of right now, and that's been the position that he's predominantly played for Red Star as well. Um, other positions going to have to learn to be a little bit more selfish in. So like I said, he's going to have to be able to get teammates involved. It's not going to be all about him, and it shouldn't be all about him even if he plays a center forward position. But like we like to say, center forwards' job is to score goals. So sometimes when he does act a little selfish, you would take that from a center forward. He's trying to score goals. He's trying to win matches for his team. So that's completely fine. But in the other positions, he has to be able to set up guys a little bit more. 7 goals, like I said, in 21 matches. I don't think he has an assist. So that kind of goes in with all that other stuff where he's kind of looking to get his own, right? The one thing I'll say is I think it's too early for a move like this for him. As an 18-year-old, he's not even established yet as a Red Star player, and the move to a top 5 league I think is the wrong move for him. I think there should be probably a step or maybe two in between going to a top 5 league. Um, would going to Serie be a move? I don't think so. I think that's a little bit too low of a level. But going to a team like, if we're talking about Serie A, like a Sassuolo or a Monza or Salernitana or teams like that, where he's actually going to get some playing time, completely okay with that. A team like Fiorentina, where Serbian players have had a lot of luck playing for. Dusan Vlahovic is someone who's with Juventus now, where he made a name for himself playing for Fiorentina. I think that's a great move as well. But I think going to one of the best teams in the league right away, I think is a mistake. He could be done after one training. His progress could be pushed back 2 or 3 years after one training. We know how it is at big clubs. You might not even impress in training, and you're not going to get a chance to play um, for the A squad. So I think it's too early for a move like this. Again, this is just a rumor. Gazzetta dello Sport reported this a few days ago, so that's just kind of the rumor. The first one that I've read so far. We've heard stuff about Bukhari as well, but yeah, just to kind of sum it all up. Even if he were to stay into Red Star this entire season, and he could stay even next season, I would like to see him until he's like 2021 play for Red Star. We've seen Dan Jovic leave, have some struggles abroad. We've seen Luka Jovic, who's run into a wall since joining Real Madrid. We've seen some other guys as well. So I think for him, currently, the best thing is to stay with Red Star or to go to a team where he's actually going to get some playing time. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, where he should go, if this is the right move. What league do you think suits his style of play or his physique? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments below.